Well, welcome. This is Where to Find Jobs. I'm your virtual coach, Rosa Montanaro. We're going to help you with your career path, with navigating your job search during these difficult times. And we're going to talk about primarily resources for you in looking for work during the COVID, post-COVID era, kind of how we've moved to um, looking at things remotely and probably finding more jobs remotely. And so if you haven't been part of the series yet, I've been doing this for 17 years, been a certified success coach since 1996, and have a lot of really cool tools in my toolkit. And one of them is career advisement, career coaching, and talking about how to help you land that next job. And one of the things that we're going to go over today, our agenda is pretty simple. This one's really going over a number of job boards, different resources to you virtually that you can access to find your next job. We're going to look at remote jobs because that's something people are very interested in right now, and employers are as well. And then we're going to talk about freelancing and gigs like that and where to look for those type of positions, and then just wrap up with some resources. This is not going to be as long as some of the other seminars we've had together, but we're going to jump right in. And so let's start off with some job boards. Now, here's what I want you to remember. We talked about the applicant tracking system, and we talked about how to get your resume geared where it can be read by a computer or database, because that's the trend. And so what I want to do is stay in that trend. Your best way to find a job is to combine networking. Networking is the name of the game. Nearly half of the people that land a job were referred by an employee already. So it's a very good way to continue looking for a job. But you're probably going to need to apply for a job at some point in time, and you may not have a lead. And so here's some common sites that I see with our clients that do quite well. So of course, there's the big guys like Monster and Career Builder. But if you haven't been on rochesterworks.org, visit that site. It's really well done. And we have a lot of local employers that post their jobs with Rochester Works, and there's no charge for them to do it. So, and if you're a business, hey, contact Rochester Works and get your job postings on that job board. Now it's more of, you create an account for Rochester Works, but you can look for a job on there. And so it is a job board in the sense of that. ATS wise, a little more ATS with, if your resume is actually in that database, then when the business services team is looking for applicants for a particular employer, we can cross-reference that way. The big guys are, the Monsters and Career Builders. The only thing I would do with that is I probably wouldn't put my street address on those resumes if you're posting them on the job board. But if you're looking at a job board, great. Little tip, by the way, when you're uploading your resume to a job board, try to tweak it every couple of weeks so that it stays fresh in the system. Something as simple as put your initial in, a middle initial, and then 2 weeks later, take it out. Save it, it's fresh. There's shiftdiff.com. That's an interesting job board. I actually found some interesting things on it. And then ZipRecruiter, now we're getting sometimes where it might be specialized positions. If you're in a specific field, look at who specializes in your field. Maybe you're part of a professional association. They might have their own internal job boards. Unions often advertise things amongst themselves. Get to know that in your field. That would be really wise. If you like the world of nonprofits, then I would locally in Rochester go to ccsi.org. ccsi.org has a whole variety of community job postings. So not only can you look for a job on cci.org specifically for that particular organization, but you will also find an entire clearinghouse of jobs that are posted throughout the community and all levels of nonprofit. So stick with that one, you'll like it. All kinds of jobs. Of course, there's Glassdoor, and you do have to register with Glassdoor. And it's a good place to do your research as well. And people seem to find matches on Glassdoor. They use it as a backup a lot. They'll find something somewhere else, and then they'll go to Glassdoor to research that and to find out more about the company. And now Indeed, as big as that is, and it uses spider technology, so it's crawling a lot of websites. A lot of people shy away from Indeed because you end up getting a lot of email. Oh, tip, open a separate email account. just for these job boards. I'd create an email account at Gmail that you could just toss out later, or whatever one you want, whatever your favorite is, provider, and specifically use it for a job search. Use your name, so it's something that people can easily remember. Nothing too witty, maybe, where it's a little hard for someone to remember. Some people do twists on spelling. I'd be careful with that. Something as plain as simple, like mine would say Rosa Smith or something, or Rosa Montanaro, and it's pretty easy, and it's still the same one, and I don't even look at that. Only use it for a resume, so you're only looking at it when you need it, so that when you're on sites like Indeed and educational institutions and providers are trying to, upsell you to take classes with them, you'll get a lot of those emails too. And it goes with the territory, but that's why I think it's wise to get a separate email address, and then you don't have to worry about it. You could just get rid of it when it's done, or just purge the whole thing. But I do see excellent job leads from Indeed. I really do. So many of our clients say they've gotten good leads, and when I ask them where they found it, they've said on Indeed. So it's worth checking out. I didn't write Craigslist because they do have their own version of a job board, but Craigslist could be for you. It depends on what your business is. If you're a administrative support individual, I see accounting. I see a lot of things on there that people advertise for the smaller business. And here's the thing. I wouldn't send my personal information through Craigslist. I'd only use their email portal. And here's what you want to remember. If it worked once or twice for the employer, they're going to keep doing it. So I've seen employers of pretty good sized businesses say, I'm getting good hits from Craigslist. I'm not paying for anything expensive like what they would charge on a career builder. So I'm going to stick with this because it's working for me. You do have to kind of proceed with a little, be cautious, be what am I thinking? Conservative. If I were, like I said, going through Craigslist, I just use the email to communicate. I wouldn't have my name. I wouldn't give them a resume with any of my personal information. They have a way of contacting you through Craigslist until you know exactly who it is and exactly what this job is, especially if the name of the company isn't advertised. I got to tell you, I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of my faves lately. Not always. LinkedIn was not very intuitive back in the day, but Microsoft owns them now, and they are a competitor. They really are spending a lot of time and energy working with recruiters, getting recruiters to list their job openings and to use LinkedIn to find talent and source good talent. I think LinkedIn is a game changer for people. I would be using it. I would highly recommend you create a LinkedIn account. You get on LinkedIn, you update your summary. You can just use what's on your resume, put it in your LinkedIn account, and utilize it for the job purposes that it has, because you'll find some interesting jobs. And then what I like to do is I like to go back once I find those job openings in those companies. I go back and I look to see who I know within those organizations, because now we network. We go back to, that's almost 50% of where the landings are coming from is an internal recruitment done by the staff. You want to get chatting with the staff. So think about who you know. Now, NY Hire Now is a really cool site. A lot of the local jobs, it's like a local posting, you'll find all kinds of things on there. So these are traditional jobs, wide range. There's a lot more than this, but I'm just throwing at you some of the ones that I think I would be spending time with, that I've seen a good return on, and I would recommend. Now we're going to talk about remote jobs. And remote jobs are, you're working from home. Maybe you want to work from home. And if you prefer to work from home, well, then this might be a good option for you. And these are websites that primarily have remote jobs, or have some remote jobs and some other jobs as well. Now, here's what I want you to remember. If you're looking online for jobs where you can work remotely, and you don't do a search on keywords such as work from home, working at home, working from home, any variation of that, because that's where those, how am I saying this, more scam type of individuals are targeting. Those are the keywords they're targeting. So when someone has a scam, they're telling you, oh yeah, send me $50 and I'll send you this kit, or send me your email address and I'll wire you $500 for your first job. Those are things that are scams. Don't get involved in any of those things, but they associate to those kind of words. So what what we found and what locally recently news articles are coming out with are terms like remote work, telecommuting, and virtual work, those kind of things, telecommunicating, those kind of words are the ones that are safer to look for. I tend to use the word remote myself more than anything. So here's some websites that I've played with. And I haven't signed up on all of them. I haven't actually, there's some of them that have an upcharge if you do decide to work with it. And frankly, some of them I might consider it. Skip the Drive, I kind of like that one. It has a large range of jobs, but also has training programs. So you're going to get some of that in there where they're going to try to talk you into going back to school or something. Now, if you like the idea of going back to school, you're not going to mind it. But if you're trying to avoid that, Skip the Drive might get on your nerves a little bit, but check it out. Flex jobs people rave about. Now my freelancers love flex jobs. So I've had a lot of people over the years that prefer to work from home. Maybe they're a writer, they're in public relations, they're marketing, they're used to working from home, software people. They pay the upcharge for flex jobs and tell me it's worth it to them. It's really not that expensive, to be honest with you. I want to say it was like $15 for the month. I didn't think that was bad. But, I would maybe go on Facebook and ask people what they think too. You might say, considering flex jobs, has anyone used it? Now, I like casual conversations like that on social media because you're gently telling people what you're interested in without saying, hey, find me a job. You can say to your friends, I'm looking for something in the world of virtual training and facilitation. I saw flex jobs as, pretty popular. Has anyone paid for the, the subscription and found it useful? So now people know, oh, wow, you do this and you're looking for a job. And if I hear of something, maybe I'll think of you first. And then they'll hopefully engage in conversation to give you their feedback. Virtual Vocations. This is an interesting site. They have jobs for telecommuting. They have virtual job postings. They have quite a bit. It's pretty interesting. I found that to be easy to use. I liked WeWorkRemotely.com. I really like that one. And I like We Work Remotely because they charge the employer to post their jobs on there. So you're going to eliminate a lot of the scams, or maybe not a lot these days. You're going to eliminate some of the gray area stuff where someone's got let's say a small shop, a small business, and they really just want you to be commission based and they're not actually giving you a salary. Well, those individuals, if they don't want to spend money on the salary, they're probably not going to spend too much money on the job posting. You're going to find more of those people probably on a Craigslist or something free. But I thought We Work Remotely was pretty interesting. I find it interesting. I liked it. Now, Simply Hired is using Spider technology. So what they're doing is they're just going through all the sites and pulling those in. And so you might see overlap. You tend to see overlap on these because if they're using good technology, they're using a spider type technology, which means it's crawling all these other websites and it's pulling whatever matches and bringing it to one space so you could see it all at once. They do have a quick apply feature that I thought was rather good. It was nice and convenient for you because if you click it, now you can instantly apply. Now, workew.com, Workew, I don't know how to say that right. That's an interesting one too. Remote jobs, not a fancy site, doesn't have any bells and whistles, but has lots of interesting jobs on it, mainly geared towards those who want to work remotely. So, you can negotiate that, by the way, when you are talking to someone about interviewing you. I probably wouldn't do it if they didn't indicate that this is an option. I'd probably wait, but I would say as you get closer to negotiating, they want you on their team, and maybe that you could work from home and you think that would be an option, then you could pose that as a question as far as part of the negotiation process. To say, this is a great opportunity. I know I can help you get your job. I know I can help you get your goals. Looking forward to helping you reach your goals. One quick question. What are your feelings about working remotely if needed during this particular pandemic, or when weather gets bad, or the fact that I have a home office and I can get a lot of work done and I'm very productive from home? Just your thoughts on that. You could just throw it out there. Now, if you're really attached to it, if it's a game changer, deal breaker, then you're going to screen that out in the beginning. But if it's something you're considering and you're feeling them out, sometimes that could be negotiated right in. Very often it is, especially now. More and more so people are saying they're negotiating to be able to work from home. Even if it's part-time, you work from home 3 days a week, you go in 2 days a week. Still, it's worth it. If you that to you is important. Now, this is a fun little section that we're going to talk about, and that's freelancing and what I call gigs. I call a gig a short-term project, something I can do for a little while. It's serving my needs, serving my values, probably not something I'm going to do forever. Maybe I'll just do a back-to-back gigs. And these are some sites where you can find some freelancing opportunities or perhaps some short-term gigs. And Shift Gig is one of them. Shift Gig is more of a staffing agency site. They call it a job center. But their app looks like you could fill in someone's shift for them. So it's pretty interesting. I found some in Rochester, very industry specific. Not for everyone, but it's worth checking out. Now, I do like Rat Race Rebellion. That was my first site that I learned about for freelancing, remote working, gigs, things like that. It's been around a while. What I will say about Rat Race Rebellion, you'll find a lot of opportunities on there. It's a mix of what they checked out themselves, and it's legit working great, and a mix of advertisements. And so here's what I want you to remember. If they have it as a link on their site, not an ad, not a picture you click on, but it's just a regular link, a hyperlink, they've checked those out. So when you go to the Rat Race Rebellion site and they've got like, get started now, here's our quick guide, click on that. It's going to give you their list. Click on that. Anything that's a click, that's a hyperlink, those are things they checked. Those are legit. They're real businesses. But I don't think when it comes to the ads, when they have pictures of ads and they're trying to grab you and pull you away, that those are always sanctioned by Rat Race Rebellion. But people have told me they found some really good jobs on there over the years. Quite a few people have used them. Upwork is pretty interesting. This too might have an upcharge. I can't recall. They do have a lot of freelance type gigs on there. They cater also to companies. So the good ones are going to cater to the company as well as the employee, so that you guys know you're getting a fresh pool of job leads and that they're keeping their employers happy. They're delivering. If they're delivering, they're going to keep coming back. Now, Fiverr.com is one of my favorite websites as a consumer. Love Fiverr. I don't know how lucrative it is to be part of it because it depends on what you do. But if I was a virtual assistant, if I could do work virtually from anywhere and I had a skill set, let's say social media, I probably would go on Fiverr, put together a package of what I would do. Let's say it's 2 posts a day for the next 15 days or something like that, and have a dollar amount to it. And people basically buy those gigs. And I've done a lot for my business through Fiverr. I've had logos created. I had the cover of my book done. I had my brochures created. I've had business cards created on Fiverr. I've had social media management through Fiverr. I've had some proofreading, a little bit of proofreading, not much. I've had caricature drawing done. And so things that I can just delegate. I had someone edit a video for me through Fiverr. I just needed something modified, and it really was reasonable what they charged me. It's people from all over the world. And so it can be competitive as far as pricing goes, but I love it as a consumer, as I said. But look through it and see if it's something you do. And the prices are getting more competitive as far as for professionals. They're actually raising their rates for professionals and offering a level of service where you're getting not just someone who's doing this as a hobby level. This could be, all right, I'm a professional editor by day and I do this as a gig through Fiverr and my rate is X amount of dollars and it's not the cheapest rate. So for you to put your services on there might be quite useful, and you might pick up a couple gigs. Really, really cool site. And then freelancer.com, where you'll find some freelance gigs posted as well. Lots more than that, a whole lot of resources. And so let's start with as we wrap up, because this was a short session, but let's wrap this up. So what I want you to think about are what other resources are available to you. And one of them I really, really like is publications such as The Penny Hoarder. If you haven't read The Penny Hoarder, it's online, it's pennyhoarder.com, and you can Google it. They have all kinds of great articles about ways to supplement your income. So apps that you could use to download something, they have all kinds of things, and they're pretty legit as far as anytime I've checked those things out, they're pretty accurate. So they do have some good articles. Look at publications from your associations you belong to, and if you're part of any kind of group, start looking at those publications and get involved in maybe their Facebook page or their LinkedIn page, and have some rapport with people. It's really important. It's going to help you a lot. I do like the Rochester Business Journal. I think that's a good publication. It's interesting to read. It talks about local businesses. You'll see companies that are being highlighted because there's the top florists in town, the top optics companies in town, the top food and beverage companies. They do it by industry. You'll get some companies to put on your hit list. So I think that's a good one to keep your eyes on. Now, as I said in the beginning, networking is the name of the game. Half of the placements are from employees making a referral and saying, my friend is looking for a job. And the boss says, send me the resume. They're just like anyone else. And so networking is going to be highly effective for you. I would say networking for you, get on some Zoom calls. We had a whole networking episode that we did. Maybe look at meetup.com. People in Meetup are doing virtual meetings. Is there an area of interest to you that you can connect with other people, get to know them? Of course, professional organizations, things like that. Love all that stuff. As you establish a little credibility and visibility, it's going to go far for you. So you want to remember that. Credibility, visibility. Visibility is you see me walking by, you see me in the hall. You don't know what I do. You see my picture on a bulletin board. Who knows? That's just visibility. It doesn't mean anything. Now, credibility is I'm in front of you. I'm talking about an area of expertise. You start to say, well, that makes sense. I think I like that opinion. You read an article, you say, wow, that was a good point. I like that point of view. I do a lot of Facebook Lives and people watch them. And then later when I see them again, they've seen me 100 times. They'll say, that was great advice you gave. I love that. Thanks for sharing that. So that gave me credibility. So you want visibility, you want credibility. The way you get visibility is you be seen. You show up, you're seen, right? And credibility is engaging, contributing, giving some of your subject matter expertise, sharing that so people know they can trust you. People know that they like the way you think. People want to work with people who they like and who they're going to have a good, positive chemistry with, and are going to complement the team, right? That's what they want. You got to do your research. And if you're concerned about any of these sites and any of these companies you've heard about, go to the Better Business Bureau. See if there's anything listed on the Better Business Bureau. You can go on the website. You can contact them. There's a lot of other places to look. There's Dun & Bradstreet. That's a bigger site. We talked about that for a whole other workshop. You can call the library, say, is there anything I can learn about this company? See if the company has a press room that you can look into that. News releases, those kind of things. I will throw out one that I forgot to mention in addition to RBJ, is I do love Greater Rochester Enterprise. Great organization, and their website's rochesterbiz.com. I'm pretty sure it's .com. And they have like resources. So you can go to key industries. And once you get to key industries, they have relevant documents at the bottom of that page. And it's usually a PDF. You click on that and you get like the top 30 or 40 companies in that key industry in town, how many people they employ, all kinds of cool things like that. Yeah, it's really cool. So I would definitely look at that as well. Now, local support includes organizations like Rochester Works. Visit rochesterworks.org. Look at the job board. Update your resume in it. Chambers are fantastic. There's chambers for many of the suburbs and townships, but also there's the Rochester Chamber, which was known as the RBA, but now back to Metro Rochester Chamber. So, check that out. There's staffing agency locally. Staffing agencies do help employ people. You know what? At least it gets you a gig, right? Gets your foot in the door. Maybe there's a staffing agency that has a company that you want to be part of. And maybe it doesn't have the exact job you want, but if it allows you to get into the organization, it could be well worth it for you. I would not dismiss staffing agencies. Some companies use them heavily. So we've covered a lot of information. I did it quickly. I hope this is helpful. It's really just, I want you to watch this over and over again, because this is going to help you to, get comfortable with this new way of doing things. This new way is going online, making sure your resume is friendly to the computer and it knows what you're saying, matching those keywords, and definitely tapping those resources, but also talk to your friends. You've got to network, you've got to talk to people. So when you combine the two, you're going to find your job search is shorter than you thought it would be, and it's going to be more effective. You're going to get better leads, you're going to get better results. Always ask your friends, especially when you find some of these organizations and job openings, hey, what do you know about this company? Or what do you know about this person? Can you put in a good word for me? Don't hesitate to ask. Now, I'd love to stay connected to you. I'm on LinkedIn, linkedin.com/in/Coach Rosa. Link up with me. When you do, just reference in the title, not a long email, but just something short like, I took your virtual workshop at, or I took your class of, whatever it was, where you took it or what you took is all I need. Then usually I can connect. Do have a photo. It's better when you have a photo. LinkedIn really favors people with pictures and photos. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you are one step closer to your ideal job and that you land that job. And I send you positive thoughts and best wishes. God bless you, my friend.